So in this video, let's quickly finish the last topic with regard to the basics of LLM and large language model and NLP. So in this video, I would be discussing about a different library called Llamaindex. Now, what is Llamaindex and how is it different from LangChain? So basically, we will be answering or finding answers to some questions. One of the question is when we have LangChain as a library to facilitate services like RAG, prompt engineering, or other things, then why we need another library like Llamaindex? That is one of the questions which we will be discussing. The other question which we will be discussing is, can Llamaindex and LangChain work together? Is it possible for them to work together? So this is all going to be a discussion based video. From tomorrow I will start creating the actual demos. So I just thought it would be better to finish all the theoretical or all the conceptual information or videos first before we go to the next level, that is demos and applications and coding and everything else. Now let me talk about what is Llamaindex. So when we talk about Llamaindex, so Llamaindex was previously called as GPT Index and it was developed by OpenAI and then it was open sourced, and we now have it as Llamaindex. And it is like, if you look at a broader level, it looks very similar to LangChain because it also does RAG, that is retrieval augmented, like retrieval augmented generative API or architecture. It is exactly doing the same things, but not 100%. Like, it differs from LangChain in certain aspects, and there is a specific reason why we have Llamaindex. See, LangChain is, you can consider LangChain to be a set of tools, and it provides some features like prompt engineering, callbacks, memory, and those things you won't be able to have in Llamaindex. Now, Llamaindex doesn't provide you with memory, callbacks, prompt templates, and other things. The only advantage of using Llamaindex, like over LangChain, is that it is designed to be very good in querying, indexing, and fetching of data. Now you can use different connectors. It provides lot of connectors, like if you have to fetch data from SQL server, like let's say you have data from SQL server, you have data in files. So let's say this is SQL server and this is CSV file or a PDF file. And then what it does is it provides you lot of connectors, and these connectors, see, basically Llama Index has its own repository called Llama Index. It has its own hub where you will get all these connectors, and LangChain is a company which has its own like set of components or connectors or like different components which it provides. So both have different environment components available to developers. Now we can say this has connectors. So these are, it provides, Llamaindex provides you with like data connectors, and data connectors is basically allowing you to access multiple resources or multiple data sets or data sources, and that's how it functions. So you can have data from CSV file, you can have data from SQL file. Now, once this data is fetched, that is where the power of Llamaindex comes into picture. Now, as I mentioned, Llamaindex is very good in fetching, in indexing. Now, what I mean by indexing is, now let's say we will put a box here called indexing. Okay, so what happens is when you have data which is parsed or which is fetched from SQL server or CSV file, that data gets converted to a data set, and that data set needs to be indexed. Now, what is indexing? Indexing is just arranging the data so that it can be sent as an input to the LLM. Now, how does it do it? It uses, like, it has Llamaindex has its own engines. So we have engines. So it has its own engines, and these engines are very good in, like, interacting with the data, like processing the data, and then passing the data to the LLM. So basically the data, after it has been indexed or organized or arranged, it is then sent to the, or we have engines which like process this data, and then ultimately this data is sent to the LLM. So we have LLM here. So that is where we will finally send the data. So Llamaindex is basically doing all these things. It has features for, like, it provides you features with data connectors, it provides you features with indexing, it provides you features with engines so you can execute or process the data which has been indexed. Now, so I give you an example of a PDF file which is parsed or which is processed using data connector, and then it has been indexed, and then it has been processed by engines, and finally it is sent to LLM. Now, this is, in a nutshell, this is the only purpose of Llamaindex. So Llamaindex is not doing, or it is not actually known to perform any other task other than the like fetching, indexing, and processing or retrieving the data back from LLM. That is where the power of Llamaindex resides. Now, when it comes to the difference, the second part of the video, as I mentioned, what is the difference between LangChain and Llamaindex? See, when I started learning about LLMs, when I started learning about AI models, the one of the areas which was very confusing for me was what is the difference between Llamaindex and LangChain. And it is really confusing because this is also, like, see, this fetching of data, indexing and sending it to LLM, this is also a kind of RAG which is already performed, or which is also performed by LangChain. But what LangChain does is, it doesn't stop there. It provides you with tools like prompts, it provides you with memory, like you have a single call or short term memory, long term memory, and all these features are provided by LangChain. So in other words, what the difference between Llamaindex and LangChain, what I have learned is, Llamaindex is, you can say, it is only a part of the puzzle, and LangChain can consume Llamaindex. So let me again repeat this sentence very carefully. So LangChain can consume Llamaindex as one of the agent. So what does LangChain do? As I mentioned yesterday, so LangChain provides you with lot of agents. Now a LangChain is a library. What it does is, it provides you with the support for creating agents. Now, what is an agent in a nutshell? If you have not, if you are not aware of agent, I would highly recommend that you watch my previous video. So, agent is nothing but it is an actor which performs a particular action. So, suppose you want uh, the LLM to search on Wikipedia. You are asking a question to LLM, and you are stating to LLM that if you don't find this question in your trained data, or if you are not trained to perform or to answer me this question, then please use some library like LangChain and Agent to search the internet or Wikipedia and fetch the answer and send it to the user. So these are all the this is all the setup which a developer, AI developer does. AI developer, when the AI developer writes the integration between LangChain or Llamaindex. So when you suppose you are working on a project and you are given a task, okay, um, design me a chatbot which is trained on data, some data, internet data, and if a particular user asks the chatbot a question which it doesn't find, then let the chatbot search on Wikipedia and retrieve the question answer and then send it back to the user. If that is a kind of setup you are planning to build, then LangChain and Agent is going to be very useful, because Agent will ultimately communicate with Wikipedia and will fetch the answer to your question and will send it to the end user. Okay, so we have this setup. So we can have an lang chain, or in an AI application we can have multiple agents. So we can have a wiki agent, we can have a Google search agent. Now this agent is only responsible for searching on Wikipedia. This agent will be responsible for searching on Google and then sending the data to the user. So you can define a series of agents, and then those agents can perform tasks, and these like the result of these tasks will be sent back to the agent. That is one of the core feature of LangChain. So what you can do is, the reason I am giving an overview of agent here is basically because we can have the entire setup of LangChain inside an agent. So we can build an agent which will have a Llamaindex library used inside it, and this Llamaindex library can communicate with SQL, CSV, and then index it, then process it, and then this agent, instead of this, we can have this agent sending the data to the LLM. So this is kind of a setup which would really like clear out your doubt on what is the difference between Llamaindex and LangChain. Now LangChain, see, the most important point here is LangChain can do all these things. It is designed to perform all these things, but it is the like speciality of Llamaindex to search, index, and process the data. So why not use that inside an agent and implement this LangChain and finally process and send the data to the LLM. So that is going to be our like end of this video, where we have clearly explained what is Llamaindex, what is LangChain, how are they different, what is the similarity, and what is a bigger framework than the other. I won't say bigger, but it is like both have their own pros and cons in terms of like specialities, features. So hope you have enjoyed this video. I am going to create some new videos from tomorrow. Those videos will be mainly about demos of Llamaindex, LangChain. We will be creating RAG. We will be creating other features around LLM. So I would really go with open source LLMs, because what I feel is, if you have to learn LLMs, if you have to learn AI, you should not be spending, or you should not be really willing to spend money while you are learning, because that is the whole point. Like when we learned HTML, we did not pay anybody any fees. So if we are learning LLMs, why should we pay to OpenAI? So that is where I was, from day one onwards, I was very clear that if I have to learn LLMs, it has to be free. I have to learn LLMs through open source. And once I have learned LLMs using open source, and then I can implement those principles or those practices on paid LLMs like OpenAI, Google's Gemini, and other LLMs. So the biggest advantage of using libraries like Llamaindex or Langchain is that you can use these libraries with open source technologies or open source LLMs, as well as you can use these libraries and frameworks with paid LLMs like ChatGPT or Gemini or some other LLM. So that is what I'm going to do. I'm going to make it very, at least initially, it will be all the open source models unless I have to show some features of the paid models. Thank you very much, and please do subscribe to my channel. I would be posting a lot of new and upcoming videos on AI and LLMs. I am really enjoying making these videos, and I'm sure you should be enjoying watching them and learning from them. Thank you very much.